This is big breaking emergency news. Letters are now being sent out, and top federal officials are now warning that we could see major attacks on the US and we could see major disruptions to our water supply, especially in western states. That is what the US Congress and top federal officials are warning of right now, and they are sending a urgent letter about this issue, right? So this is big. This means they're getting ready and they are warning of this at the highest level, and you need to be getting your tanks filled up. So let's dive into the details here really quick. Please hit that like, hit that subscribe. I'm posting multiple videos a day, keeping you guys updated, and it helps to get these warnings out. All right, so you guys need to have your water tanks filled up. All right, get an 8-gallon water tank from Camping World, from Walmart, Tractor Supply. Get one of these water tanks. Get some gallon water jugs. All right, I have a 210-gallon water tank that I have filled up. All right, get your gas tanks filled up. Get your truck filled up. Your car filled up. Get your red gas cans filled up as well, because they are warning that we could see major disruptions at the highest level, and they're saying this could be, quote, devastating. That's what they're warning of. And we're also seeing major attacks throughout the US right now. All right, we're seeing major cyber attacks and disruptions in multiple different states. We will get to that in just a second. We're seeing disruptions in Georgia right now. We're seeing disruptions in Missouri and Kansas right now as well, right? And this is actually affecting people that are in emergency situations from these tornadoes, right? There's a lot of stuff going on. We will get some more details of that in just a second. But you can see here, this is the letter that's being sent by Congress to the DHS, right? This is a bipartisan letter, and they are warning that we could see major attacks on our water systems, and especially the West is extremely vulnerable, because they're saying that the West, their water supply is limited, which is true. And if these water supplies are shut down, we could see devastating consequences inside the US. All right, so you can see here it says they are writing about the recent reports that a Russian government-affiliated cyber group launched a hack against a United States water facility. We request a briefing about the protections your department has already put in place and any additional protections that your department needs to put in place in order to protect our nation's water facilities and other critical infrastructure from adversary disruption. All right, so this is a letter from Congress being sent to the head of the DHS right now, and they're warning that this attack that happened in Texas, right, where the water tower was taken over and flooded out and was used to flood this town, they're saying that this could happen in more cities and states in the West and could cause, quote, devastating effects. You can see here it says, water facilities continue to be central to our nation's critical infrastructure, and our water resources may face limitations. For example, as you may know, much of the American West is experiencing a historic long-term drought that makes fortifying water supplies from vulnerabilities like adversary disruption efforts all the more important. Should a hack similar to the Texas incident occur in Arizona or other states that may lack sufficient water supply, it could disrupt operations across the region with, quote, devastating effects. Right? So they're saying that this could occur in Arizona or other states that may lack sufficient water supply. So all they have to do is cut off these dams, take over these dams, drain Lake Mead. What if they open up the floodgates at these natural made dams? They flood out entire cities, right? Open up Lake Mead, and then they also drain the entire water supply as well and leave them with no water. This is what they're warning of and preparing for right now, and they want answers on how the government is getting ready. Right? They said even as cities and towns work to use their water supply as efficiently as possible, water systems, especially those in smaller municipalities, may lack the infrastructure and funding to hold off large-scale cyber attacks. Right? So this is critical. They're saying that the loss of tens of thousands of gallons of water, like what happened in Muleshoe, that was in Texas, could have devastating impacts on small rural and agricultural communities across the country. And they want answers on what they're doing to prevent another attack. And they're saying that, and they're questioning if other critical infrastructure is a target for disruption as well. All right. So this is big. They are potentially going to shut the water off, and that's all they have to do. That's all they have to do for chaos to ensue. If your toilet doesn't flush, you don't have any water to flush it, to put in the back of it, that's all it takes. You can't cook anything. The restaurants can't cook anything either without water. You can't wash dishes. You can't take a shower. You can't even get a drink. Right? So that's all it takes, is shutting the water off to completely shut down a town or a state. All right? And they're worried that major water supplies could be impacted by this. All right? We're also seeing major cyber attacks in other parts of the country as well. Right? You can see here that Kansas City is dealing with a cyber attack right now. Right? It says cyber attack in Kansas City wipes out crucial Department of Transportation highway signs ahead of severe weather. It says weather conditions can change in an instant in this part of the country, and the boards can often be most efficient way to relay messages to highway drivers. All right, so if you didn't see these tornadoes that are happening in Kansas and Iowa, all over the Midwest right now, and there's major warnings right now for Oklahoma, Texas, and Missouri. Tonight, if you are in these areas, be on high alert. Make sure you're subscribed to any of these weather alerts for your phone, anything like that, right? And be on the lookout. Be on high alert. Be listening, because they're warning these states that there could be a very high possibility of tornadoes tonight. And while this is all happening, the signs are being taken out. What a coincidence that this happens, right? Just like the weather radar all went out and nobody could get any weather notifications a couple weeks ago when there were major storms and tornadoes happening, right? So these things are intentional. They're happening constantly. Check this out too. You can see here it says this plasma donation company, Octopharma, says cyber attack disrupted its U.S. operations. Okay, so this is affecting potentially blood transfusions, and medical procedures and things like that are now being disrupted from this, right? And this is exactly what would happen. They would shut down the healthcare, they would shut down blood transfusions, they would shut down the notification warning signs. These are critical, right? These are critical for everything. For any type of emergency, they use these highway road signs, and they're offline right now from the cyber attack, right? So this is a big deal. And this is what they would do before some kind of major attack would happen. The healthcare systems would be offline. The hospitals would be disrupted. There'd be no blood. They're saying they took off their entire operations offline, right? There would be no blood available for any type of emergencies. And then there would also be no government signs would work, so they can get these communications out. Even if because your phone communication could be offline too, right? Maybe you can't get some type of thing on your phone because the weather's so bad, or there's some kind of event going on with that too. These signs are critical, and these going offline is very suspicious and strange. Why would anyone want to do this? Why would some random... You have to think of the motive. Somebody's not going to waste their time just to take these signs offline for no reason. All right, there's a reason, and it's potentially to do something even bigger. All right, so make sure you guys, this is also affecting Georgia right now too. Okay, Georgia is being hit with major cyber attacks. And you can see here it says cyber attacks force Georgia County to sever connection to state voter registration system. Right? This is kind of strange. Now a cyber attacks hitting this county and hitting their voting systems, apparently. Right? Just very big red flag. There could be backdoors being installed or being put in, or some kind of compromise is happening. This does not give me confidence in 2024 being secure, right? And these are controversial places already where the votes come down to very small margins a lot of the time, right? And now they're saying that their voter registration systems have been attacked, right? So everything's up for grabs right now. They're hitting us at every single angle. And America, they're trying to do it. Right? They're trying to do it. I don't know if it's going to work. Right? Hopefully we can push through this. I think we can, right? If we keep our heads up, keep fighting, keep going, keep growing. All right? Growing your own food, working on all these things, getting off grid as much as possible. That's the key to this, is to be off of these systems. So when they go offline, you don't really notice. It doesn't really affect you. All right? You're off the grid. If the power goes out, I don't know. I guess it doesn't really affect me. If the water goes out, it doesn't really affect me. I have a well. We drink our well water. All right? We have nice fresh well water, and doesn't really affect us if the water systems go offline. All right? That's what you need to be setting up these systems so you're insulated as much as possible from these disruptive events that they keep warning are coming. Okay? And even communications, internet. We got satellite internet recently, and it's a game changer. It's incredible, and it's one of these systems too that you can move around. It's mobile. All right, if we ever bug out in our RV, we gotta leave, do whatever, leave in our RV, get out of here. Something happens, we gotta leave. There's a fire, we gotta bug out. Whatever's going on, evacuations, we can bring that satellite internet with us, and it's also mobile too. Right, so that's another incredible thing about it, is that you can just set it up anywhere and have good internet, right? Especially if the communication towers are down, there's some kind of cyber event on the grid or disruption, then the towers might not work, right? A lot of them do have backup generators, but that might only last so long, right? They might have to keep filling them up, and they might prioritize certain ones to only be online in those situations, and your phone might not work. All right, so have fail safes, have a generator, have wired internet and wireless, have a cell phone and wired internet too, or satellite, or a satellite phone. All right, have fail safes in case these things go offline. Fill your tanks up ASAP, as soon as possible. Have them filled up at all times, and then cycle it out every month or two. Cycle the gas out, dump it in your car, dump it in your generator, start it up, dump the water out, refill the water, unless you got whatever, bottled water. But we're just filling it in tanks straight from the well, so we just clean it out every couple months, keep the water fresh and good, and get water purification as well. Things like iodine, right? Drip some in there, some nascent iodine. That can disinfect it. All right, I'm not recommending anything here, but that's what we do. All right, we dip some nascent iodine into water for disinfection. There's also iodide tablets that you can put in there, water purification tablets. There's also things like the Life Straw, the Sawyer Mini filter, all these things that you can use to drink straight up pond water, creek water, and I've done it a dozen times. Camping, hiking, all that stuff. Get down on the ground and drink out of a straight pond, right? It's gonna get all the bacteria. It's not gonna get the contaminants, like if there's heavy metals, something like that. It's not gonna get very small nanoparticulate, all right? It's not gonna get individual particles, but it will get all the bacteria because they're bigger organisms. So at least you won't get sick from that. You won't get any type of sickness. So make sure it's at least a semi-decent water source. It doesn't have oil in it, right? And on the side of the road over here, and it's all nasty, right? At least try to find something halfway decent, a stream, flowing, river, creek, right? There's creeks and little things all over the place around here. And every time I see one, I just note it, and I'm like, all right, if it ever hit the fan, I could get water right there. We have a little pond in the back of our yard, all right? It's kind of like a swamp pond in the very back, so that works too. We have water there if we ever need it, and I've thought about it. I'm gonna go drink out of this pond water if it ever hits the fan. If I'm running out of water, well's not working, tanks are done, I can at least use this water to feed the animals and stuff like that too, right? So thank you guys. Please hit it up for me down there. I appreciate that. It helps to get these warnings out. And they're sending these letters, right? They're sending these letters to Congress, to the DHS, and saying that these disruptions could happen in western states. And they're already having all these water problems, right? So if one of their major waterways are shut down, this could be the end. Or they shut down some dam, and now they can't let the Colorado River, it can't flow anymore because they can't open up the dam or the gates to let the water flow through. All right, that's all it takes. Something it's not simple, but it only takes one system like that. A few systems to be compromised to shut down the waterway for the West, right? So thank you guys. I hope you have big blessings for your life, your family, and I hope you have a big old blessed day.